My sister ruined my wedding and married my fiancé a month later, smirking as she mocked my infertility in front of our entire family. I begged for peace, she kept escalating. I found safety in Malik and silence from our parents. Alas, Thanksgiving, she laughed at me again. This time Malik stood up and announced, we were expecting twins, and Jessica's husband had just lost his company to mine. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Jessica always got away with everything in high school. She stole Rebecca's prom date, copied her essays, and lied with a smile. Our parents called it rivalry. Rebecca believed them, but I saw it jealousy that burned. At Rebecca's bridal shower, Jessica accidentally spilled wine on her dress, then laughed. Malik wiped it clean, calm but wary. That was the first time I saw him watching Jessica like a threat. The pattern had started long before. Years earlier, Jessica broke Rebecca's laptop the night before her college thesis was due. She claimed it was an accident. Our parents blamed Rebecca for leaving it on the couch. Rebecca cried for hours. Jessica got her nails done the next day. That's when Rebecca stopped sharing things with her. Malik once said, some people don't grow up, they grow sharper. Jessica wasn't just cruel, she was strategic. And nobody stopped her, not even our parents. Jessica's baby shower invitation arrived a week after Rebecca's miscarriage. It wasn't just cruel, it was personalized, covered in pastel rainbows and the phrase miracles come when you're worthy. Rebecca sat silently, hands clenched. Malik shredded the card. Our parents said, don't take it personally, but it was personal and calculated. That night, Rebecca locked herself in the bathroom. I could hear her sobbing through the door. Jessica never apologized, not once. At a family BBQ, Jessica joked that Rebecca's dogs were her children now. Everyone laughed except Malik. He set his plate down and walked inside. Later, Rebecca said nothing, just stared at the pool water. Our dad claimed Jessica was just being playful, but that joke left Rebecca hollow. Malik told me quietly, she's drowning in silence. Jessica smiled like she owned the room. I wanted to slap her. Jessica posted an ultrasound photo online captioned, "Number 3 on the way, third time blessed, not stressed." It went viral. Rebecca found out at work. She shut her laptop and whispered, of course. That night, Malik took her phone. No more watching her life, he said. Our mother called, saying Jessica felt left out. Of what? Rebecca asked. Of our silence, her voice cracked. And the silence finally started to shatter. When Jessica crashed Rebecca's baby announcement dinner, wearing a white dress and filming herself, it was war. She called it content, bragging about her followers. Rebecca stayed calm, but Malik stood up. Leave now. Jessica laughed, but her eyes flickered. Our parents didn't speak. Afterward, Rebecca whispered, she wants us broken. Malik replied, then we build something unbreakable. That night he made a call and everything began to shift. At a family meeting, Jessica revealed a flash drive claiming it held secrets about Malik's finances and Rebecca's. If she grinned, confident, but Malik leaned in, unshaken. That's our decoy drive. The real secrets are yours, Jess. He slid over a folder, copies of her forged checks. Fakeds, even a police report. Rebecca never blinked. Jessica's smirk cracked. For once, she had no script, only silence filled the room. Jessica screamed, snatching the folder and throwing it into the fireplace. Malik didn't flinch, he had the originals. Rebecca stood, you poisoned my drink. The miscarriage, it wasn't natural, was it? A Jessica froze. Our mother gasped. Jessica said nothing, just shook. Rebecca walked out. Malik followed, and our parents, pale and quiet, stayed seated. The truth had landed. Jessica wasn't just cruel. She was dangerous, and we had let it happen. The next day, Malik filed charges. Jessica was served papers at her doorstep. She live-streamed the moment, pretending it was harassment. But the internet didn't believe her this time. Screenshots, audio files, eyewitnesses. The tide turned. Rebecca stayed home, curled around her pregnancy pillow. I'm scared, she whispered. Malik held her. She can't touch you anymore. Outside, protesters gathered, not for Jessica, but for Rebecca. Truth had finally found its voice. Jessica's defense unraveled fast. Her ex, David, turned witness, revealing her manipulations. She made me frame Rebecca, he confessed. Texts proved it. Bank statements tied her to theft. Malik's team released the evidence slowly, methodically. Rebecca didn't watch the news. She gardened, breathed, rested. Our father called, crying, I shouldn't have stopped her years ago. Rebecca replied, then start now. For the first time, he listened, and Jessica began to lose control. Jessica faked a mental breakdown to delay trial. She shaved her head, wore hospital gowns, and cried on live streets. Sympathy flooded in for a while, but leaked footage showed her laughing behind the scenes, calling it content gold. Kesby has reopened her case. Her children were sent to stay with our parents. Rebecca sobbed watching them arrive, torn but firm. Malik whispered, we protect them now. Jessica screamed online, they kidnapped my kids. No one believed her. Jessica convinced a man named Klaus, her prison pen pal, to stalk Rebecca. He sent dead flowers, watched from across the street, even left letters quoting Jessica's words. She wants her life back. One read, Rebecca stayed inside, terrified. Malik hired security. I moved in temporarily. Klaus was arrested outside the twins' daycare. Rebecca collapsed into Malik's arms. I can't live like this, she whispered. Malik held her tighter. Then we'll change the rules. At the custody hearing, Jessica tried to fake a fainting spell. The judge didn't blink. Malik presented a recording of Jessica coaching Klaus from jail. Send the letters. Gilo crack. The courtroom gasped. Jessica's attorney quit on the spot. Rebecca sat tall, hand on her belly, calm. The judge awarded full guardianship of Jessica's children to our parents, supervised by Malik's firm. Jessica was escorted out in cuffs. Her silence screamed louder than words ever could. 2 weeks later, Jessica sent threatening voicemails from jail. She blamed everyone, me, Rebecca, Malik, even the children. You'll regret this, she snarled. Malik traced the call. It wasn't from prison, it was from a prepaid phone smuggled in. Authorities moved her to solitary. Rebecca deleted the messages without listening. She can't reach me anymore, she said. That night, the twins kicked for the first time. They're ready, she smiled. Jessica faded into static. Just as the dust settled, Jessica's fans released a website, freejessica.com, claiming she was innocent, framed by jealous family members. Photoshopped images, fake texts, conspiracy theories exploded online. Rebecca's address leaked. Protesters showed up. Malik's team filed restraining orders. The site was traced to David angling for a book deal. It backfired. He lost everything. Jessica's lies collapsed under real evidence. Rebecca issued a statement: my story won't be erased. And this time, the world listened. Malik quietly bought the domain and turned it into a support hub for victims of family abuse. Thousands joined. Jessica's face, once the symbol of chaos, now marked a warning. Rebecca moderated forums under a pseudonym. You're not alone, she wrote often. She found peace in helping others, even while healing. The twins were born that fall, 2 girls. Our parents cried holding them. Jessica's name wasn't mentioned, and wouldn't be again. Not in that home. Rebecca's maternity leave became a sanctuary. She painted the nursery, read books, planted sunflowers, each one taller than the last. Malik found her smiling again. They'll never know that kind of pain, she promised. Touching the crib I visited often. Watching her rebuild. Jessica wrote from prison once, begging forgiveness, claiming rebirth. The letter went unread. Rebecca lit a candle and whispered, some stories don't deserve sequels, and that was that. We never looked back. One day, a journalist knocked offering to buy Rebecca's story for a documentary. She declined. It's not entertainment, she said. But later, she wrote her own essay anonymously. It spread like wildfire. Survivors wrote back, thank you for showing us we're not weak. Malik smiled, reading them. That's the only fame that matters. Rebecca framed the first reply and hung it in the nursery. The twins would grow up with truth on their walls, not Jessica's lies. Klaus tried to appeal his sentence, claiming coercion by Jessica, but his letters filled with obsession and intent buried him. He got another year. Rebecca visited the courthouse once just to watch it end. Malik held her hand. We're done, he said. She nodded, eyes clear. No more hiding. Outside, strangers thanked her. Your story saved mine, one woman whispered. Rebecca hugged her tightly. It was over. Not forgotten, but finally over. And that was enough. Jessica filed a civil suit from prison claiming defamation, emotional abuse, even theft. The judge dismissed it in under 5 minutes. Frivolous, he said. Malik chuckled. Rebecca didn't. She was exhausted. Let her keep screaming into the void, she whispered. That night, we burned Jessica's letters, everyone, even the Christmas cards. Rebecca smiled for the first time in weeks. She can't haunt us if we don't keep her ghost alive. In her final appeal, Jessica submitted a handwritten manifesto, 40 pages of blame, rage, and delusion. The court clerk chuckled as he skimmed it. She thinks she's the victim, he muttered. Rebecca refused to attend. Instead, she hosted a playdate with her nieces and the twins. Laughter echoed through the house. Our mother brought cupcakes. No one mentioned Jessica. Peace had finally become louder than her chaos, and that was the justice Rebecca truly wanted. Rebecca donated all her old journals, every page Jessica mocked, to a center for young women rebuilding after trauma. She left a note inside: when your story matters, even if no one believed you yet. The center named a wing after her. Malik held a ribbon as she cut it. Eyes wet. I almost stopped writing, she admitted, but now I know why I never did. Her silence had become strength. Her pain had purpose. A podcast aired featuring survivors of narcissistic siblings. One voice stood out. It was Isabel, telling our story with grace and grit. She didn't just break Rebecca, she fractured all of us. Messages poured in. Thank you for saying what we couldn't. Rebecca listened once, cried, and never played it again. That chapter's closed, she said. But her strength echoed in every download. The story was no longer just ours. It belonged to those who needed it. Jessica's final sentence was extended after smuggling a letter through another inmate, threats written in crayon, to bypass screening. The judge read it aloud. I will burn every bridge and build a throne from the ashes, he sighed. Then added 3 years. Rebecca laughed, for once unafraid. She's not powerful, she's pitiful. Our father agreed, and we're finally free. That night, we toasted marshmallows in the backyard. The only fire Jessica caused was in our bonfire pit. Rebecca wrote one last letter never sent. She sealed it, placed it in a drawer, and labeled it for closure, not for delivery. In it, she forgave Jessica, not for Jessica's sake but for hers. You no longer control me, it read. She never opened that drawer again. It became a symbol, untouched but present. A quiet reminder she had the final word, not with fury, but with release. That's how healing began and how Jessica ended. Years later, Rebecca spoke at a survivor summit, brief, strong, unforgettable. You don't owe your abuser a single chapter, she said. Not even a footnote. The crowd rose in silence, tears in many eyes. Malik waited in the wings, holding the twins, now school-aged and smiling. I watched from the front row, heartful. Jessica hadn't just lost control, she's become irrelevant. Rebecca didn't just reclaim her life, she made it louder than her sister's shadow. The last time Jessica's name was mentioned, it was by a stranger. Is that the woman who tried to ruin her sister? Rebecca paused, then smiled. No, she said. That's the woman who made me unstoppable. We laughed in the cafe. Sunlight warming the table. The past no longer whispered threats, it only echoed victories. And Jessica, once a storm, had become a cautionary tale. When we no longer feared, when we had outgrown. After it all, I watched Rebecca plant lavender by the porch. They keep the wasps away, she said, hands steady. Her voice carried something new. Peace. Jessica once mocked her for gardening, called it boring, but now every bloom felt like a rebellion. The twins played nearby, laughter loud. Rebecca turned to me. It's quiet now, she whispered. And I like it. Silence had never sounded so full before. Malik framed a photo of the courthouse, Rebecca standing tall, twins in arms. This is strength, he said. It hung above their fireplace, replacing their wedding portrait. Rebecca nodded, because this was earned. Our parents came by often now, quieter, softer. No one walked on eggshells. Rebecca once asked me, do you think we're healed? I answered, we're healing, and that was enough. Scars don't vanish, but they stop hurting eventually. Rebecca hosted a small dinner, just us, the twins, and our parents. She made lasagna. We laughed about old vacations, school plays, the time Malik got lost in IKEA. No mention of Jessica, just warmth. Our dad raised a glass to resilience, he said. Rebecca smiled, eyes misty, and to choosing peace. That night, the house felt like a home again, a scarred one but whole, and stronger than it had ever been. I found an old photo, Rebecca and Jessica as kids, holding hands. I almost tossed it, but showed Rebecca first. She stared for a moment, then tucked it into a drawer. That's a chapter, she said, not the whole book. She wasn't bitter, just firm. The past had space but not control, and in that quiet act of keeping, not displaying, I saw the difference between surviving and thriving. Rebecca had done both. Jessica remains in prison, Forgotten by most, her name fading from memory. No books, no podcasts, no headlines, just silence. Rebecca's life, by contrast, flourishes. Her twins start school next fall. She volunteers at the center. Our parents babysit often, and Malik still brings her coffee every morning. Justice didn't roar, it whispered through everyday peace, and that, in the end, was the loudest victory of all. At the twins' kindergarten recital, Rebecca wore a sunflower pin, a nod to survival, a symbol of growth. Malik recorded every moment. Our parents cheered. I sat beside her, watching two bright girls sing without fear. Jessica was a ghost now, no longer haunting, just gone. Rebecca whispered, they'll never know that pain. I whispered back, only your strength, and that was all they'd ever need to know. Rebecca returned to writing short stories. Essays, one day maybe a book, but this time, her words weren't for defense, they were celebration. Malik built her a writing nook overlooking the garden, sunflowers stretched toward the sky. It's not about her anymore, Rebecca told me, it's about what I built after. That story, the one of healing, became her legacy. Jessica faded, Rebecca thrived, and every word proved it. Now, every holiday is quieter. No chaos, no competition, just food, laughter, and kids running wild. Our parents apologize less and listen more. Malik comes while cooking. Rebecca dances in the kitchen with the twins. I document it all, photos lining the fridge. Jessica's chapter is closed, ours isn't. It's still being written daily, loudly and joyfully, and every moment is one more Jessica never got to steal. Thanks for watching. Subscribe because I believe every story hides a truth, and sometimes, just listening can change everything.